Hi guys, you are watching Railways Explained. After the video in which we spoke about the construction of the high-speed rail line in California, we decided to make another video with similar keywords: the high-speed rail and the United States. That's why Brightline is our today's topic. Brightline is privately owned intercity rail service company based in United States in Florida. However, in perspective, this company has the vision to construct and operate two routes. One that should be an extension to their existing service in Florida, branded as Brightline East, and one brand new that should be constructed and operated in Las Vegas and Southern California, branded as Brightline West. In any case, today we are planning to cover all important aspects of these two super interesting projects. But we must note right at the beginning that it was very difficult to obtain all the data and information required for making this video. The reason, like in case of many other railway projects in the United States, additional fact-checking is always required due to complexity of the project and availability of financial and other kinds of data. Now, in case you're ready, let's start with the story about who is behind the Brightline. The initiative to build the Brightline in Florida between Miami and Orlando was initiated by the company called Florida East Coast Industries. This company is Florida's oldest and largest real estate, transportation, and infrastructure holding company. It is owned by Fortress Investment Group, which is an American investment management company that, as of September 2020, manages almost $50 billion worth assets under management. In that sense, it is no wonder that they decided to finance a construction of a rail line for passenger service. In 2012, FECI introduced a subsidiary company branded as All Aboard Florida, which was supposed to work on design, project management, and later as the operator of intercity passenger rail line in Florida. On November 10, 2015, All Aboard Florida announced that the service will be operated under the name Brightline. We need also to mention that in the late 2018, it was announced that the Virgin Group, British multinational venture conglomerate, would become a minority investor in construction and operation of this rail service. With this, Virgin Group provided rights to rebrand the service from Brightline to Virgin Trains United States. In August 2020, All Aboard Florida reverted to the old Brightline name, ending the branding deal due to claims that Virgin Group had not provided agreed amount of investment money. According to the last information, Sir Richard Branson's Virgin Enterprises is now suing All Aboard Florida for $251 million over his decision to withdraw the Virgin name from the trains. In parallel with this, in the west part of the United States, another passenger rail initiative took its place, known as Express West. Its aim was to provide a rail alternative to car and air travel between Los Angeles and Las Vegas along Interstate 15. There's some very interesting history behind this idea, but we'll discuss that later during the video. What matters for now is that in 2018, Fortress Investment Group acquired the Express West project, and in that way, Express West became Brightline West. Now, when you know who is behind the curtains, let's start the story about Brightline East in Florida. In 2012, the FECI announced plans to construct and operate passenger rail service between Miami and Orlando in the length of 235 miles. The estimation cost of the project was about $4 billion, and the project was divided in two phases. The first phase included a route from Miami to West Palm Beach, and the second one included an extension from West Palm Beach to Orlando. As for the potential of this line itself, we must point out that the metropolitan area of Miami currently has about 6.2 million inhabitants, while the metropolitan area of Orlando currently has 2.3 million. In between, there is West Palm Beach with population of about 5.8 million people, which means that there is solid potential in the sense of utilization of passenger service. The length of the line from Miami to West Palm Beach is about 65 miles, and it uses the existing freight rail corridor of Florida East Coast Railway. Construction on the new West Palm Beach station began in November 2014, when the groundbreaking ceremony took place. Works on Fort Lauderdale and Miami Station started also during the same year. In January 2015, contractors started replacing tracks throughout the corridor in order to achieve design speed of 79 miles per hour, which enables competitiveness of trains in relation to cars and buses on this route. We must mention that the central locations of the Brightline stations offer the potential for good connectivity in relation to existing bus, commuter rail and streetcar systems in Southeast Florida, such as Metro Rail, Metro Mover, Tri-Rail, Broward County Transit, and Sun Rail. The start of these works was possible only after All Aboard Florida managed to secure private financing through the sale of $405 million in bonds in June 2014. To complete the works, they needed to sell another $600 million in 2017. Public operations between West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale began on January 13, 2018, and the services between West Palm Beach and Miami began on May 19, 2018. A speed of 79 miles per hour allows Brightline trains to travel between Miami and West Palm Beach in 1 hour and 13 minutes, while cars on this route take about 1 hour and 6 minutes if there are no traffic jams. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that the ridership for 2018 amounted to 579,000 passengers and in 2019 to about 885,000. As of January 2019, between Miami and West Palm Beach, there were 17 round trips from Monday to Friday, 10 on Saturdays, and 9 on Sundays. According to the ridership study, the period from 2018 to 2019 was the 2-year ramp-up period which served for people to get used to this service. For 2020, it was expected that the passenger figures will stabilize on 2.9 million passengers and $107.3 million in gross fare revenue. But unfortunately, the global crisis with pandemic disrupted this goal, bearing in mind that Brightline had to suspend its operations on March 25th the last year.
Fastest train in South Florida, and today Virgin Trains USA, formerly known as Brightline, announced it has started construction on a path right to Orlando.
In April 2019, the company secured $1.75 billion in bond sale for the expansion from West Palm Beach to Orlando, in the length of 170 miles. The construction of Phase 2 officially began in June 2019 with a groundbreaking ceremony at Orlando International Airport. The Phase 2 includes the works on the section West Palm Beach-Cocoa for the speeds of 110 miles per hour, and on the section Cocoa-Orlando for the speeds up to 125 miles per hour. The proposed line between Cocoa and Orlando is the only segment without the existing tracks, and a completely new rail line is planned to be built. Beginning of the service from Miami to Orlando is expected during 2022. The planned travel time between Miami and Orlando is 3 hours, while driving between these two cities takes 3.5 hours using the Florida's Turnpike Road. Brightline is also constructing 2 maintenance facilities. One is a so-called running repair facility located north of the West Palm Beach station, designed for maintenance and minor repairs that does not require the train to be removed from the service. More extensive maintenance works will be accomplished at a second site near the Orlando International Airport Intermodal Terminal. Regarding the rolling stock of the Brightline service, All Aboard Florida ordered 5 Siemens train sets back in 2014. Each train set is consisting of Siemens Venture train sets with 4 passenger wagons and Siemens Charger diesel-electric locomotive on each end. The engine meets the requirements of the United States Environmental Protection Agency's Tier 4 and produces ultra-low emissions and noise, as well as consumes low amounts of fuel. These entire train sets were manufactured by Siemens in its solar-powered plant in California. Once the route to Orlando is put in operation, the existing train sets will be expanded to 7 coaches, while 5 additional train sets will be purchased. During 2019, All Aboard Florida received the rights to negotiate for securing leases along the route from Orlando to Tampa, from Florida Department of Transportation. This can be seen as the third phase of the Brightline service, which is still in the planning phase. This route includes 85 miles long rail line between Orlando International Airport and Tampa Station for a speed of 125 miles per hour. The corridor preferred by Brightline has come with multiple overlapping issues. Though the Department of Transportation added a long list of terms that must be fulfilled before a lease for access to state highway space can be finalized. On the long list of requirements, there is an obligation to conduct a study on train ridership and the amount of toll revenue that the state of Florida and the Central Florida Highway Administration will lose when the passenger line starts operating. In addition, Brightline must find a way to compensate authorities for lost toll revenues, and since the proposed route west of Orlando Airport to Tampa would have to cross the Sunrail tracks, Brightline must secure an agreement with a local commission of elected Sunrail leaders and approval from Orlando Utilities Commission for the use of Coltrane Rail Spur near the airport. Also, the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority, under the terms of the DOT, must reaffirm its support for the passenger rail link from the airport train station to Tampa. As you can see, there is no wonder why United States can't afford a high-speed rail line. Honestly, these requirements and procedures are too complicated from the perspective of the rest of the world. We think this was enough about Brightline East. Let's move on to Brightline West. The initiative to construct a rail line between Las Vegas and Los Angeles along Interstate 15 was launched under the name Desert Express during 2005. For the purposes to develop, construct, own and operate this rail line, the company named Desert Express Enterprises was founded as early as 2005. Furthermore, in June 2012, Desert Express Enterprises announced a new plan to build a network of high-speed rail lines from Las Vegas to Phoenix and from Las Vegas to Salt Lake City and Denver, Colorado. The project was subsequently rebranded to Express West to reflect these expanded ambitions. Anyway, let's for now stick only to Las Vegas-Los Angeles section. Initially, the city of Victorville was selected as the location which will be linked with Las Vegas, bearing in mind that extending the line farther into the Los Angeles basin through the Cajon Pass was considered too expensive. But the 50-mile extension from Victorville to the city of Palmdale was later included in the newly emerging developing plans. This would allow passengers to complete a train ride between Los Angeles and Las Vegas with only one transfer by using Metrolink in the Los Angeles area. The intention was to eventually connect this line with California High-Speed Rail, having in mind it is designed with the same specifications and technology. This high-speed rail line was planned as double-track rail line for speeds up to 150 miles per hour, enabling the trip from Palmdale to Las Vegas under 2 hours. The current travel time using the cars is more than 3.5 hours without traffic jams. The total cost of the link between Victorville and Las Vegas was estimated around $6.9 billion, and the cost of the link between Victorville and Palmdale at $1.5 billion. Desert Express Enterprises planned to provide $1.4 billion as private investment, and the rest was supposed to be secured through a loan under the Railroad Rehabilitation and Improvement Financing Program, provided by the Federal Railroad Administration. In 2015, Desert Express Enterprises also stated that they agree to create a joint venture with China Railway International USA to develop, finance, construct, and operate rail line between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. However, this fairy tale did not last long. In June 2016, Express West announced that this joint venture has been called off. The main reason for this move was claimed to be a federal regulation requiring the manufacture of high-speed trains exclusively within the United States. Problems with securing the funds and failed idea of a joint venture with the Chinese led to the owner's decision to sell part of the Express West project to no more no less than Fortress Investment Group in September 2018. The Express West project was then rebranded to Brightline West, and now you see the point. While the initial plans called for a double-track rail line, Brightline revised the project and decided to go with dominantly single-track rail line. Also, this was the time when it was decided to use the route along Interstate 15 and to aim at speeds up to 200 miles per hour. According to the official Brightline West website, approximately 50 million one-way trips are made annually between LA and Las Vegas, out of which 85% are by cars or by buses. At full scale of operations, Brightline West is expected to attract approximately 22% of this market, or 11 million one-way trips each year. With this idea, it is estimated that 400,000 tons of carbon dioxide will be kept out of air annually by removing 3 million cars away from Interstate 15. The Brightline West consists of 4 characteristic routes which you can now see on the screen. Those are Victor Valley, Cajon Pass, Palmdale, and Metrolink. After Fortress Investment Group failed to sell enough bonds by December 1, 2020, representatives of the company said that the Brightline West will initiate another bond sale this year. This will be another attempt to provide more equity for the project as the economy recovers from the global pandemic. Despite a financing hiccup and the rise of costs up to $8 billion, the construction of Brightline West between Southern California and Las Vegas is set to break ground in the second quarter of 2021 and to be completed until the end of 2024, according to a letter of Brightline West sent to Nevada High-Speed Rail Authority. By analyzing the same letter, we also found out that Desert Express Enterprises made an agreement with Siemens with the intention to buy new Velaro train sets for the operation on this line. Also, they made a deal with Siemens to design and construct the signaling, communications and electrification system for the Brightline West. We hope that Fortress Investment Group will succeed to sell enough bonds and that it will be able to complete this project by the end of 2024. We also believe that there is a great potential for this line as well, given that it connects cities such as Los Angeles and Las Vegas. Plus, it will act in synergy with California High-Speed Rail project. Of course, if this project is ever completed. In any case, we will monitor the implementation of both projects, having in mind that, if nothing else, as rail fans, we hope that the story of high-speed rail network in the United States will have a happy ending. This was Railways Explained. We hope you enjoyed and learned something new about the railways of the world. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your rail-loving friends, and of course, subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.